as much as I do thoroughly love them, fourth place is going to go to the Royals. They're bad. They're not a good baseball team at all in any way, shape, or form.
All right, welcome back to the JNC Baseball Show. We're going to get into this. This week, we got a lot of stuff going on. Jack's going to go off about the Royals. We're going over the AL Central. And we got a viewer question that has to do with spring training and whether it actually matters from Leland and Overland Park.
Thank you, Leland.
Whew. All right, so this week on Current Thoughts, Sweeney, Current Thoughts, love it. Jack's going to go over his little weekly tirade about the Royals because for some reason he's mad again about what the Royals are doing and what they're not doing. Jack, I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor. Go ahead.
Okay, yes. Royals, every offseason, being a fan of a small market team, okay, because we're based in the Kansas City area, okay? We've been following the Royals, we're all in our 30s now. We've been following the Royals for a long time, okay? Off seasons in small market baseball, okay, small market cities, it's a little bit apprehensive. It's a little bit. We're always a little bit apprehensive. We can't go out there and sign the guys to the to $20 million deals. We can't sign the top 5 free agents, the Jason Haywards, the John Lesters. We can't do that.
You can though. Glass has tons of money.
Can't or won't.
The thing
I think
is,
it's a won't. But we're gonna let you continue.
I would say that's a good question. We don't want to is the thing. We don't want to. Can we?
Yes. The
Yes.
dude's got Walmart money. Get out of here.
Yes, I think we
He
can.
does.
You
In
can
theory,
give Alex Gordon $17 million a year.
But when I think is, I'm not even advocating. I don't advocate that they go out there and sign Jason Hayward to a 7-year, $160 million deal and do that every single offseason. I'm not advocating that. But the free agent market is a valuable source. Okay, every single season. I was apprehensive going in because David Glass, there was word of him cutting payroll, and here we are coming off an 81 win season. Look, we have 1 year left. Okay, this is our window. Okay, like it or not, this is our window. We have a bunch of guys coming up on free agency. Now, if we go out there, and I'm not advocating that we go out there and push our payroll to $200 million, okay? But go out. We need to be aggressive for 1 more year. And here's another caveat of this: not only are we trying to win in 2017, but we have a TV contract coming up, okay? 2018. It's extremely important. We want to have as much ratings, okay? We want to win as much as possible as we possibly can.
You need winners.
Yes,
I agree.
We want winners.
100%. And the TV money coming in is going to allow you to bolster the roster.
You're not going to get it.
Substantially.
You're not going to get it if the team doesn't win.
You got to do both. You've got to put a winning product on the field, and that winning product will bring more money. And then you make more money, you spend more money, you build a team. It's called managing a baseball team.
That's business 101. And I understand it's David Glass's. I understand it's his natural position to be reticent about spending money. But this is the one time you spend money to make money. That's how business works, especially when you're coming up on a TV contract.
2 World Series
that
in a
could
row.
affect the team for an entire
A
generation.
Game 7 that if you hadn't run into Madison Bumgarner, it would have been back-to-back wins in the World Series.
Yes. Don't you want to get back there? And you know what? A few guys, Eric Hosmer may leave after 2017.
He is leaving. There's no way he
Moustakas may leave. Kane may leave. Okay, the Royals may lose, and they may go back to having to rebuild for a couple of years. But guess what? The TV contract does not last 2 years. It doesn't just last 3 years. TV contract lasts until our 60s.
Minimum of 10.
Minimum of 10 years. Actually, isn't it 20, 30
Some
years?
people sign 10-year deals.
I think it's a 25-year contract.
Some
25-year
people
contract,
sign 10-year deals.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on the team. It depends on the contract. Like the Dodgers signed.
The Dodgers is just something stupid, like $2.2 billion.
It depends on the market. It depends on the team. Like the Cardinals just signed a 15-year deal.
There you go.
But it was like $1.4 billion.
Well, that affects you for basically an entire generation.
Yeah.
So I think it's important.
A generation that until recently was used to losing, by the way.
And there were articles that were written. Sam Mellinger, I believe, wrote a great article early in the offseason where there was some bewilderment among those in the Royals front office. Why is David Glass not committing money? Now again, I'm not advocating to go out there and spend and sign Jason Hayward, whoever was available in this offseason. I'm not advocating you go out there and sign the top free agents. But go out there and be aggressive and fill your holes, plug your holes. Now, free agency is a flawed way to build a baseball team. Okay, it is. But that doesn't mean you should ignore it. And what the Royals have done, they signed Jason Hamill, they signed Brendan Moss, and I give them a lot of credit.
They got Jorge Soler, who I hate, but Hamill's was a huge signing.
And it's about time, by the way.
But I mean, I will say this: it sucks what happened with Ventura.
Right.
That sucks for all KC fans, baseball across the board. Hamels, Marte, Fernandez last year. It's terrible to lose somebody like that, especially somebody with that much talent. But for them to go out and sign a Jason Hamels or Hamill, no S, it's huge for them, and because they don't have those frontline starters that they need. Danny Duffy's good. We'll talk about Danny Duffy's contract when we get there. Hamels was huge, and that actually might tie together this team to be pretty competitive this year.
And I give David Glass credit for that. I give David Glass more credit than I do
or Dayton Moore.
No, I give David Glass more credit
because he spent the money, even though he only spent like $13 million or something.
Yes, because they wouldn't have signed Jason Hamill without
purse strings that it's impossible to pry money away from him.
I don't think they would have signed Jason Hamill had it not happened to Yordano Ventura. So, and some credit goes to Dayton Moore because I think the Hamill contract itself was a great deal. Yeah. I mean, I would rather have Hamill at 2 years of 16 than Volquez. And there was another example who I used, but there was some other pitcher. Who was it? I don't remember who it was, but somebody signed
Kennedy?
somebody signed for like 2 years of $20 million, or it wasn't Colon, Bartolo Colon. Anyway, the name will come to me later. Volquez is a great example, though. I would much rather have Jason Hamill coming off the years he did for 2 of 16 than Volquez for 2 of 22. So some credit goes to Dayton Moore, okay, but some credit goes to David Glass because we don't exactly know where the Ventura money is going. As of now, I believe most of it is still going to the estate. So
75% last I heard. Going to the estate.
75% less, you said?
No, 75% of what he was
going to the estate.
That was last I heard. I don't know what.
And I hope all that money goes there because his family deserves it.
Absolutely,
there you go.
They do.
There you go. So
as if money's going to do anything for bringing back a great guy, top to bottom.
But we need David Glass to continue to send the message, and I give him big credit for these 2 moves, more so than Dayton Moore, by the way. And I give Dayton Moore some credit, but we need to see a continued sense of urgency going into this season when we have so many guys coming up on free agencies.
How many contracts come up at the end of the year?
Oh man, I'll have to look it up. It's at least 7 or 8.
Pretty sure it's 6. I think you got Kane, Escobar, Moustakas, Hosmer. You had Davis. He's gone.
Davis is gone.
I think that's it. Is that it?
Herrera, Kennedy could opt out.
No, because it was Davis and Dyson. You traded both of those guys. You had 6. Now you only have Kane, Moustakas, Escobar, and Hosmer.
Right.
That for sure.
Right.
Ended this.
Well, and there's a couple other like Vargas, if you want.
Yeah, I mean people that could opt out or people that don't really. I mean, not going to affect the team in the way that those 4 guys are.
Right.
But you're going to lose Hosmer. You're losing him. He's a Boris baby. He's gone.
That's exactly it.
He's going to get $100 million from somebody who, for some reason, thinks he's worth it.
He won't roll out of bed for less than $100.
He's a good player. Okay, don't get me wrong. I think he's a good player.
I know that both
he's
of
not
you disagree with
worth $100 million.
Defensively, he is fantastic.
The metrics don't say that.
The metrics don't say, and
the eyeball test
doesn't.
Great, you can say eyeball test all you want. The eyeball test looks great.
Okay,
the numbers don't lie.
You know as well as I do.
Numbers don't lie.
You can tell if somebody can play the game by looking at them versus metrics.
It doesn't matter if he can play the game. Then why don't his metrics show that he plays the game?
They show he plays the game.
The numbers don't like him. I look at FanGraphs, I look at Baseball Reference stuff like, and I understand a lot of Royals fans are on your side, Tommy, than are on my side. Okay, or on our side. Okay.
Hosmer can do no wrong,
fans,
but he doesn't pass my eye test defensively.
Royals fans, as a rule, are loyal to a fault.
Yeah,
and
if they're winning,
is the issue. Like I like Hosmer. I think he's a fantastic first baseman. Defensively, I think he's great, and I would love to see him in white and blue for the next 10 years.
Absolutely, me too.
It's not going to happen.
Won't do it.
Not a chance would happen.
Not going to happen.
Not a chance in hell because it will cost too much money, and as we've already been through, Glass is not going to cut that check.
He wants more money than what Gordon got, and Gordon got a ridiculous contract when it comes to
Gordon stole that contract.
He stole the money they should have gave to Zobrist.
I think signing Alex Gordon at the
time,
I think it was a necessary move at the
time.
Was it? Yes,
was
absolutely.
It? With the plethora of outfielders that Kansas City has, you needed Gordon, who, works his ass off. You never get less than 200% from Alex Gordon. As far as a left fielder goes, he was good. Best.
He was good.
Defensively, he probably is declining now. He's 33 years old. Defensively, he was one of the best defensive left fielders in baseball.
One of the
4
best.
Gold Gloves. Great on base
2
guy.
platinum gloves.
Hit for some power. Good power for Kauffman Stadium, okay? Gordon was a very, very good player. You look at his wins above replacement totals, and last year, of course, was a disaster.
Was it a disaster? Or is it indicative of what this contract's going to bring?
It was an absolute on top of the fact that he hurt Moustakas and cost us a shot at the playoffs.
That's not true. It wasn't Moustakas leaving that. I mean, yeah, that's a big thing, but Cuthbert came in and did a pretty good job.
The number one reason...
Pretty good is not Moose.
We'll see. We'll see what Moose does, because he only had one good year in his entire career as a Royal.
He was having a great year.
He was having a pretty good year.
He was having a great year until he got hurt. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, and he came along in the second half of 2014. I mean, his numbers were not good in 2014. Don't get me wrong.
Until you got to the playoffs.
Yeah, and then toward the playoffs, and then September before that, it started to come along.
Yeah. Balls. That's what that says.
But going back to 2 points that I will make is the number one point I will make is that Alex Gordon, entering into that contract year last offseason, it was really important to re-sign him because that does have an effect with the clubhouse chemistry with the team as it is right now. It does have an effect on what Eric Hosmer is going to do, on what Mike Moustakas is going to do. I guarantee you, those guys looked at Alex Gordon, who is the soul of the franchise. He is the one mainstay. He's been here for longer than anyone else. Been here since before Dayton Moore took over. All of those players look up to Alex Gordon. Okay, they all do. He is one of the team leaders. He's one of the leaders on this team. He may not be vocal, but as vocal, but that does have an effect on Eric Hosmer. Now, is Eric Hosmer going to stay? I don't know. Probably not. Is Mike Moustakas going to stay? I don't know. Probably not. But I guarantee you that contract helped those guys.
You know what I think it helped?
It could sway them, and I think does and will sway them to stay.
I think it helped them realize that they can get a lot of money, even at 33 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Hosmer's not that old. Moustakas not that old. They're going to get way more money than what Gordon just got, especially being Boris clients. There's no way the Royals are going to pay 6-year, $120 million deal that Hosmer's going to get.
Is Hosmer worth that much?
No, he's not, but somebody's going to give it to him.
Somebody will give it to him.
The Yankees wanted to mortgage their future when he was in the minors to get this guy. Everybody thinks he's so great. He's a top 10 first baseman in the MLB, but he's not top 5.
Okay. And that's the second point that I will make is that it seems to be this foregone conclusion that he's going to make this astronomical amount of money. And you're right that some team could go out there and could overpay and could spend $25 million for 7 years.
There's 2 teams right now that's going to do it.
He's not worth that right now.
Dodgers have Adrian Gonzalez. They're not going to do it. I'm thinking of 2 teams that are going to do it. One is going to be the Red Sox. And the reason why I say the Red Sox is because the Yankees are going after Bryce Harper and Manny Machado in 2018 when they become free agents. They need somebody at first base who is kind of that, we don't really have anybody there. They have Hanley Ramirez there. We'd rather put him at DH. We got Mitch Moreland for 1 year, flyer. Bam, put Eric Hosmer there, and look at that lineup with Eric Hosmer and Hanley Ramirez DHing. That's one team that'll pick him up.
You'd be better spent picking up Chris Davis and actually adding the home runs
but
that should be in the lineup.
Chris Davis just signed
I'm just saying, if you're going to throw a
that.
ton of money around, you might as well get the home runs that you're paying
I get that.
for.
The second team that I think would pick him up is the St. Louis Cardinals. Okay, because they really need a first baseman. Badly. Okay, and they have the money to do it. They just picked up Dexter Fowler for defense. Apparently, everybody thinks Eric Hosmer is a good defensive first baseman. The metrics don't really say that. A lot of eye test people say that. A lot of people in Kansas City would try to hang me if I said wasn't good at first base.
Oh, they will.
Yeah, whatever. So he's not. I mean, he's not that guy. I mean, he's good in the lens that people see him because they're so biased. I mean, people in Kansas City, since I've been here, because I'm not a Kansas City Royals huge fan, but I like watching them play. Everybody thinks that all their players are great. Like Moustakas is unbelievable. He had 1 good year. Okay, Hosmer for a long time was just kind of there. And then he kind of figured it out. And he's been pretty good offensively and decent defensively. But, I mean, it's just not there. He's not there. I mean, you don't see any superstars in Kansas City outside of defensively Salvador Perez, who is probably the best defensive catcher in the game right now with the slip of Yadier Molina.
I think that Hosmer will be tested. And if the Royals do, if David Glass has even remote willingness to be able to spend the money, and there is a lot on the books, okay, or there's a lot off the books, I should say.
There's a lot coming off the books too.
Coming off the books in 2018 and beyond. So the Royals do have flexibility, to extend or to re-sign Hosmer. But we'll see, we'll see what happens. I think the Royals will be in the mix, and it will be a test for Eric Hosmer. How loyal is he going to be? Is he going to take the extra $20 million?
Absolutely.
Take the extra 5%. Is he going to take the extra 5% and go to to wherever
Yeah.
else.
No, I mean, no offense. He's a Florida boy. He's got
I
that
was just
pretty
gonna
boy
say,
attitude.
You head to Florida, and you know what else you get on top of the additional 5%?
You get to play in Miami.
And you don't pay income tax.
Boom. But I'm just saying, I like the guy as a player. He's probably a really nice guy. I'd never really met him, obviously. But I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, he's going to take the money. He's a professional baseball player. He's going to take the money. Somebody offers him money, he's going to take it.
All right, gentlemen, sidebar. As long as we're talking about the Royals, I am going to take this opportunity to make a public apology to one Rex Hudler. When the man first came and started announcing Royals games, could not stand him. It was something about the laid-back attitude, the random spouting of gibberish that made no sense. Rex, I could not stand you being in the booth. Now,
are you apologizing, or what are you saying?
Yeah, what are you saying?
Now, I absolutely will not watch a broadcast unless HUD is doing it. I was wrong. You're amazing, and thank you for all that you do. I appreciate it.
If I were you, I would say something about Ryan Lefebvre because he's amazing. Actually, I really like him.
Just not a huge
really
fan of Minnesota in general, but
Wow. You went there.
I've listened to
kidding.
Ryan. You know, I admit,
I do like Lefebvre. He's great as well. But I never badmouth Lefebvre vocally.
Just saying.
I did Hudler for a very long time. I was wrong.
I'm
Ryan
glad your
Lefebvre
circle of
came
friends
in.
It
knows
does
that
not. It doesn't happen often. Not wrong very often. When I am,
Disagree.
that's you being wrong again.
Disagree. It's okay, though. I'm glad your circle
I
of
like
friends
Ryan
understand
Lefebvre too, and I remember. But I'm an old time. Of course, you know, I grew up on Royals baseball. Okay, so I grew up with Denny Matthews and Fred White on the radio, and I was really skeptical when Ryan Lefebvre came in. Like, oh no, they replaced Fred White. But I tell you what, he's done a fantastic job.
Great job.
Yes. So
Love it. We're going to continue. What do the Royals need to do with these contracts? Because they got 4 guys that they can leverage. I honestly, personally think fire sale. That's what I think they need to do. They need to get some MLB ready or AAA guys for Kane, Hosmer, and Escobar. Even though I don't think anybody will take Escobar, and they just need to re-sign Moustakas.
basically, you have what 4 players.
4 guys.
4 guys, and does that include Kennedy's potential opt-out or not? Okay,
No.
so you have 4
We're
guys.
talking about position
So
players, not the pitchers.
I think the goal should be to re-sign 2 of those guys.
They won't. Well, I mean, you're not going to re-sign Kane. Okay, he's a 31-year-old center fielder with hamstring problems.
But if you do, if he has a good year next year, I think if you re-sign him, then you want to re-sign him to a
He's
decent
gotta stay
deal. You don't want to
healthy.
sign him 5 years of $80 million, to a 32-year-old. But sign him like 3 year, I don't know, 3 years $40 million, something like that. I could, or 3 years 30.
He better
million,
move to
something
right
like that.
field.
I could go for that.
He better
Yeah,
move to right field.
Yeah, and he might have to.
And move Paulo Orlando to
And
center
there's
where he
nothing
belongs.
wrong with
who
that.
needs to be playing.
It's some
But they
guys.
got Jorge
Every
Soler.
single day.
They got Jorge Soler playing
Who
right
can
field.
DH?
Well, then what is Brandon Moss doing on the team?
Well, that's the $64,000 question, isn't it?
Wow, that's a random number.
Well, Brandon Moss will find a spot. He can play first base. He can DH. He can play corner.
He should
outfield.
play left field because Alex Gordon is, I mean, no offense to Royals fans. Everybody loves the Royals. Alex Gordon is pulling a Ryan Howard. He got his money. He's in a hammock. He's not going to be good
We
for
need
the
to
rest
see
of the
one
year.
more year. I thought his second half last year wasn't as bad. We
The
need
fact
to
you have
see-
to say as bad.
Well, it wasn't as bad. You're right. He's never going to be the player he was from 2011 to 2015. Okay?
Exactly.
Before he got hurt in
Why was the
2015.
contract issued?
Exactly.
It was
It's a
issued.
business. Cold and
It was issued because he was coming. He was going to be coming out of his peak. Okay, so he was entering his decline years.
So why give him the
His-
most
his
money he's ever
WAR-
made?
$17
his
million
WAR was like
on a decline?
His WAR was like 6 to 7 from 20 every year. Okay, which is excellent. Okay,
Great,
that's
but
one of the-
you
one of the
just
best in
said he's
baseball.
declining.
Okay, yeah, but it was going to go down from like 5 to 4 to 3 to 2. Okay, so there's that as well. So you are getting his decline years, but you're also betting. You're also trying to win at the same time. We had 2 years remaining on a 2-year window, or I'm sorry, 2-year window remaining. Okay, so it's really important to have him in for those 2 years. B, C, it encourages other players to stay.
Does it?
Yeah, I think yes, I think it does.
Anybody will stay as long as you pay them enough.
Exactly.
I think if Gordon left, then I think
if you
Moustakas
pay a
is
man
saying,
enough,
"Oh
he'll
man,
walk barefoot
Gordon."
through hell.
Gordon, who has been here since 2005, first-round draft pick, was the guy I looked up to. I wanted to be like Alex Gordon when I came up through the farm system, and then now he's leaving. It's
I'll be honest with you.
I
Completely
better
honest.
get out of here
The
as soon
team,
as
the
possible.
only contract that would, in my mind, make other players stay is the Salvador Perez extension, because he's
That
going to
too.
be the guy
That too.
that carries the Royals. He's declining offensively, but his defense and his ability to manage a staff,
Mm-hmm.
basically be a memory foam mattress behind the plate. Nothing gets by this dude.
Right.
On top of the fact, there's not a better guy on the planet than Salvador Perez.
He's great. And I love
Perez
it.
is great.
He is a true Royal. He's what they embody.
Yes.
His contract, that might be the thing that actually keeps people there. But other than that, no.
They're still professionals. They still play for a living.
Still play for money.
And you know what?
They have families to think about.
Exactly. Yeah, because apparently you can't live on $17 million when you can get 19.
Yeah, apparently. So, all right, we're going to go straight into the AL Central since Jack just went over the Royals and what he thinks we need to do. We're going to go into the other teams. We will get back into the Royals, but first things first, we're going to go to the White Sox. The question is, the young crop of talent that they got for those two trades with Eaton and Sale, are any of those people going to be competitive in the MLB level this year? I think they will. First things first, I think Yohan Moncada is going to be an absolute beast this year. Okay, he's a great player. He probably won't play second base. Probably going to play shortstop because they need a shortstop. He's going to be a beast from day one, and we're going to see that in spring training. He's one of the best prospects to come out in a long time. The dude absolutely rakes. If you saw any of the Futures games, the guy just murders the ball. Other than that, I'm not sold on Lucas Giolito. For some reason, people really love this guy. He was the number one prospect in the national system. He's good. Okay, he's going to be 3-starter, maybe at best. But I'm more worried about, Reynaldo Lopez and Michael Kopech. Why are nobody really talking about these guys? Kopech's numbers, Reynaldo Lopez's numbers and potential are ridiculously off the charts. I think not this year, but in 2018, Michael Kopech will be one of the rookie of the year for pitchers. He's going to be absolutely amazing. If you look at this dude's numbers, already so far, 3 years into the minor league, 2.61 ERA, 134 innings, 172 strikeouts, 69 walks, 1-2 whip. The guy throws 98 plus as a starter for 9 innings. You know what those numbers remind me of? Everybody says this, Noah Syndergaard. All right, and it's nice.
A bold statement.
He does look like Noah Syndergaard.
He looks like Noah Syndergaard, but it's nice, easy, fluid. He's not jerking around or anything like. He's just bam. It's just heat. And the guy looks amazing. Got an unbelievable slider, much better than Syndergaard, but his changeup is not there yet. So we need that. Reynaldo Lopez pitched a lot for the Nationals last year, 5, 6, 7 games. He got roughed up a little bit, but obviously you're going to see that in your first couple of, but the dude's stuff is there. They're going to be a good team in a couple of years. Okay, they have Quintana, they have Rondon. If they don't sell Quintana to somebody else like the Astros,
which they will.
They
will.
They're going to have a New York Mets type rotation
Here's
in a couple of years.
We're talking a couple of years out. Where do you see them now?
I'd say 1 year out.
1 year out?
2018, this team's going to have the best rotation in the AL Central, which is saying a lot with the Indians and the Tigers because they both have really good rotations. In 2018, this team will have the best rotation.
One thing that I will say though is that I do agree that they got excellent hauls for Chris Sale. They got great pitching for Chris Sale in the Adam Eaton trades.
I would say they got better for Adam Eaton than they did for Chris Sale.
Okay, but I think it was great for
when it comes to pitching.
Either one. Okay, but yeah, that is true. I agree with that. Better for Adam Eaton, but I will say that beware of of touting these pitchers and just saying that in 2 years, 3 years they're going to be studs, because the attrition rate among pitchers, even more than position players among minor league players, is great. Now it's possible that maybe 1 or 2 of these guys could become great relievers, great closers. That's certainly possible, but I'm not ready to pencil them in as like the next number 1, number 2.
I get that with how hard Kopech throws. And how easy the delivery is, mechanics are really fluid. There's no way this guy's not going to be somewhere on the White Sox roster.
Because I remember as a Royals fan, the Royals were loaded with all these great pitching prospects: Tim Melville, Chris Dwyer. I'm sure the hardcore fans will know these names: Danny Duffy, John Lamb, and really only Danny Duffy turned into a guy. All the rest of them, are out of here. Mike Montgomery.
Actually, Lamb would be pretty good, except he got traded to Cincinnati, and he does do pretty well.
Yeah, but he's had some injury problems. So
that may be because they misused him. But he was doing pretty well in the minor leagues for the Royals.
That's true. Yeah.
So does anybody else have anything on the White Sox? The team's actually got a pretty good team. They're decent. They're not good, but they're decent. They got Dave Robertson.
That's where it comes. They're decent. They're not good.
They have a lot of really good players.
Not great, and they're definitely not the Indians.
They have a lot of really good players.
I like the amount
and
of
a lot
young
of really
pitchers.
bad players.
I like their starting pitching, and in particular the future of their starting pitching a lot more than their offense. I think that some of these guys like Todd Frazier, Jose Abreu, I think they could be
Jose Abreu is good. Jose Abreu is good.
Yeah, I think some of these guys could be good trade bait. So I don't see them winning this year. They could down the road, but I think they're going to probably have to spin off a couple of other guys to win even more in, say, 2019 and beyond.
Well, what do you think is going to come of James Shields? Are you going to see the James Shields of last year where he gets shelled every time he touches the mound? Or do you think you're going to see 2-3 years ago where
he was still getting shelled every single time he went to the mound? If you understand, in 2014, when he pitched for the Royals, he had like a 5 ERA in the postseason. He was not a good pitcher.
His postseason was not good.
He got you to the postseason.
He got you to the postseason. He had great regular seasons in 2013 and 2014.
Plus, you know what else you got with James Shields?
The worst nickname could give to somebody. He's not Big Game James. Get out of here.
Wade Davis came along with him. And if you don't think that that's a winner, that was the best trade ever.
And perhaps even better, Elliott Johnson came along with him too. Elliott Johnson was a great super sub backup second baseman.
Yeah, nobody knows who that is. So. We're going to move on to the
Only
Twins.
the nerds know who that is.
And Tommy, I'm going to let you go with this. Which season is most indicative of their current lineup? Are we going to 2015, where they were actually pretty good, almost made the playoffs, or 2016, where they were one of the worst teams in the league?
I am hoping for 2015 because I want to see them play good baseball. This lineup, Dozier, exceptional. Mauer, getting old, but still, he's
good
Joe
hitter.
Mauer.
Good hitter.
He is what he is. I want to see the 2015 Twins. I think that's what you're going to see because last year was an aberration, and they were unbelievably bad. And bad enough that I actually caught them in Atlanta playing the Braves. I saw two of the worst teams, both of which I thoroughly enjoy watching by themselves. One of the worst baseball games I've ever seen live in my entire life. It was
Yeah.
unpleasant to watch. Except for Freddie Freeman hitting a 700-foot bomb.
But we're talking about the Twins, so.
But we're talking about the Twins. I think that they are going to come around and be what they were 2 years ago, not last year. I think the lineup is too good, too stacked top to bottom.
I want you to tell me who in that lineup is going to push them to contending for a wild card in the AL.
You think they're only in a wild card position?
Yeah. There's no way they win the division.
Bold
the
statement.
division has the best team in the American League, if not the MLB, and that's tough for me to say because I'm a Cubs fan, and the Indians are that much better this year than they were last year.
Maybe. They overachieved last year.
We'll get to them when we get to them, but I will continue.
I think they're going to follow suit on Dozier. His unbelievable year last year. Just
do you don't think you think the Indians overachieved, but Brian Dozier hitting 42 home runs at second base didn't overachieve?
You said who are they going to follow? Who are you going to follow? The guy that's coming off a career year and gives you something to build on? That's exactly what you follow. Especially when the team fell flat on their face, you jump behind the one guy that showed up the entire year.
You know who I think they jump behind? This is going to sound ridiculous. Barrios. He's one of the best young pitchers in baseball, and I think he comes through this year and becomes an ace this year.
They need it.
I think he becomes an ace this year, and I think people are going to follow suit. Phil Hughes is going to come back. Barrios is going to be the ace. Kyle Gibson's going to do what Kyle Gibson does and throw his bowling ball sinker. And then you got some really good hitters in this lineup. Mauer's getting old, but he still makes contact. Okay,
he does.
Dozier's going to get on base. He's going to hit home runs. You got Sano.
He will not. Let's be clear. He will not hit another 42.
No, he won't hit 42. But
he'll hit 25.
Yeah.
He'll absolutely.
And that's normal of Dozier
for a second baseman. That's huge.
But here's the wild card. Sano, where's he going to play? You can't put him at third base.
They said they were going to.
You can't put him at third base. It's like putting a totem pole out there.
And you can't put him in the corner outfield.
He doesn't do anything in the field.
Right.
The guy has nothing.
And you can't put him in first because you got Mauer there. So
yeah. I mean, what are you going to do with that guy? He's a great hitter. You can't take him out of the lineup. Where are you going to put him? You can't.
You can thank God you're in the AL.
You're going to. Oh yeah, that'll work. But who else they got? They got a lot of people like Kenny Vargas. You can't put him in the outfield either.
The thing about Sano, I don't see the defensive potential with him. I think that he could be down the road. I'm not saying they're going to do it this year, but he could be just good trade.
The dude mashes, man.
Down the road. Yeah. I mean, if you could maybe put him in the field just to market the fact that he can play a position competently, or maybe not competently, but and then hope he has a really good first half, and then trade him. So he could be trade bait for them down the road.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see them doing it this year. They don't really have a bullpen. Honestly, I mean, we need some more stuff from them. I want to see the 2015 Twins because I like to see the AL Central be competitive, but I have a feeling we're going to be seeing 2016. I have a feeling they're not going to win that many games. They need to do something. They have to have a lot of people step up. and they have way too many unproven guys coming up.
Plain and simple.
That's just what I think.
And
They're playing a very tough division. Because the two top teams in this division are going to just run through everybody.
I think there are 3 teams in the division that could.
You keep saying the Royals.
Yes.
No. So
we can all hope. Not going to happen.
You can hope. Probably not going to happen. So let's go back to the Royals because I know you want to say this. Personally, for me, I have this written down in capital letters, fire sale. I think they need to get rid of all these players. And the reason why I say that, and they need to do it now, is because they need to do what they did in 2015, 14, 13, 12, have all these new blood guys, these new prospects come up, take their licks together in the majors. Learn how to win and lose as a team so that when they actually want to try to make a run, they can do it again. Because that seemed to work for them. And they already have a lot of good core guys like Perez, Duffy, Gordon. Get some new people in there. Soler. Get Herrera. Get some guys in there that can play together as a team, win the way the Royals win games, and get some people for what you have now because you're not going to keep those guys.
One of the things that I will say is that the Royals do have a few guys in the. I don't think the farm system is as depleted as we think it is. I think that they have a lot of high potential players. I understand what you're saying. I think that's a reasonable argument. It's obviously not going to happen until the middle of the season.
No.
They're not going to make a fire sale, but it could happen in the middle of the season if they have a slow first half. They could trade a lot of their guys, and they could actually get good returns even for half years of players. Okay. I think the Royals, though, coming off the year they did last year, a lot of guys, they went to the postseason 2 consecutive years, long Octobers. Okay, a lot of injuries last year. A lot of underperformance. I don't know who overachieved. Maybe Duffy. Maybe 1 or 2 guys overachieved last year. Yeah.
For 2 months.
But everyone else underachieved, and in some cases underachieved massively. So I do think there's going to be a correction there. Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Right. So, what can they do this year? I think that I like a couple of the moves that they made, bringing in Jason Moss, bringing in Jason Hamill. I think they could go out there and get another reliever.
Brandon
I
Moss.
think what did I say?
Jason Moss.
Brandon Moss. But I do think they need to make a couple other moves. I think they need a couple of their young pitchers to come through, young players just in general to come through and have really good regular seasons the entire way through. So,
what do you think of the Danny Duffy contract? Because I know Tommy, had huge issues with this. I like the contract a lot because if he has 1 year where he's anything like he was last year, it's worth it for a team like the Royals.
I disagree.
It's not. He's not Gil Mesh.
Who is? 17 mil is outrageous for any human being, let alone.
Let's talk in the framework of the MLB. For a guy like Duffy, who should be getting from other teams 20, 22 mil, he's a lefty, throws 90, 97.
On the open market, he's getting more than he got.
He's getting more than he got somewhere else. I'll give it to him. He wants to be a Royal for life. I love that. And he said that years ago. He didn't say that just this year.
I think it's a good contract. I mean, I didn't read any baseball pundits. I didn't read any analysts criticize the contract. I think it's a good contract. Was I doing backflips?
I may very well be the only person on earth that doesn't like it. I think he's overpaid. I think he's unproven. And I've said it before. I think he's lacking the 6 inches between the ears. He is absolutely a mental case. When he's good, he's very, very good, and when he's bad, he's awful.
And that's what I mean. If it's a huge if. You're talking $17 million on a guy who has let you down countless times in the past. He didn't last year.
It's 1 year. And it wasn't even a full year in the starting rotation.
One thing that I think really helped Danny Duffy is when James Shields was in the rotation from 2013, 2014, and then Ian Kennedy, another Southern California guy.
James Shields is an absolute fallacy.
Okay, but Shields had great regular seasons, though, for a long time. And I understand he was bad in the postseason, but a fellow Southern California guy helping Danny Duffy in 2014, and then another one last year in Ian Kennedy. And in 2015, he was missing that mentor. He was missing that Southern California mentor, or just a mentor in general. So in 2015, he struggled. So
don't even
I don't know where Chris Young. Oh, Chris Young, yeah, Chris
as
Young
a mentor, not
a
pitcher.
Absolutely, be just a mentor and should be teaching pitching, not pitching. Because I'm not sure he throws as hard as I do anymore.
He probably doesn't, but he's still very vital to you guys' success in 2015.
As an instructor, absolutely. Put the man on the payroll. Just take him out of any remnants of seeing game time.
I think he's just the mop-up guy going into the season.
Yeah,
if you want to see somebody give up
reliever.
25 home runs because 60 miles an hour doesn't cut it in the pros.
He doesn't throw 60, but I mean, They have him penciled in as a starter this year, and that is
scary.
Well,
what
but
do
I
you think of the
you could go with
Gerard
Strom
Dyson
and you can go with
Carnes?
Nate Carnes above him.
What do you think of Carnes Dyson trade?
I think it was a sensible move.
I think it was a fleece job
no
by the Seattle Mariners.
Dyson is 30. He'll
as
be
well as the Davis Soler.
Dyson's going to be 32 next year. I mean, Dyson's going to be 32, and he's not an everyday player. I said that all along. I said
get
that last
that. That's
year.
fine. Carnes
he's
is
not
not a
an
good
everyday
pitcher.
player. Carnes has put up good strikeout numbers. Okay, I'm not going to defend him. I'm not going to say that he's anything more than number 4 pitcher.
5.15 ERA last year.
If you look at his FIP from the last 2 years, his FIP in 2016 was a lot better than his ERA. Okay, in 2015, 2015 was more indicative of the type of pitcher I think that he is. But he's posted good strikeout numbers. Doesn't walk too many guys. Okay, and he could be very valuable in the bullpen as well. I think he's got
going to be a bullpen guy? You think they traded Gerard Dyson for a bullpen guy?
Well, I would actually take that because
already have
Dyson's
enough
not an
bullpen
everyday
guys.
player either.
They already have enough bullpen guys. They got Flynn, Strom.
I don't think we have enough bullpen guys. No.
You need to re-sign Hochevar. Honestly,
We need to sign one more reliever. Yeah, if
Just
not
one.
Hochevar, it's got to be somebody else.
all right, we're gonna move on to the Tigers because you guys can talk about the Royals all day. Tommy, I'm gonna let you give the Tigers here. Will they bounce back from injury this year and contend like they should? Because they have a team that should contend.
Absolutely, and we say it a lot, especially on this show.
Should.
On paper, they should absolutely
should
contend, if not win the whole division. They're that good. They've got that kind of talent on this team, and obviously, Cleveland is
Cleveland's
incredible.
We'll get to
They're
Cleveland next.
Cleveland. We will get to them in a moment, but Detroit is at bare minimum a cut below Cleveland. They are fantastic as a baseball team.
They have the best, in my opinion, the best hitter in baseball still. I know he's old, but Miguel Cabrera, pure hitter. He's the most dangerous hitter in baseball right now for me.
You got to have something other than Cabrera in order to deal with, though.
They got J.D. Martinez.
Especially if you can just go to your mouth 4 times and put him on base.
They got Castellanos, who looked like a really good player until he got injured last year. They got Victor Martinez coming back from injury. They have a lot of good players on that team. Justin Upton will not have the year he had again. He was the third best left fielder in baseball going into 2016, and he laid an egg. There is no way he does it again.
I absolutely love Ian Kinsler. He is one of the top 10 total baseball players in the league. He's amazing.
He's a good player.
Love Ian Kinsler. Is that enough to carry him to the playoffs, though?
They have to stay healthy.
Kinsler is 30. He'll be 35.
They have to stay healthy. They're too old. Let's just call it what it is. Spade a spade. They are old.
Kinsler is a very good player.
They are an old team. Victor Martinez is old.
Yes.
Miggy is old. JD Martinez is getting old. He's pushing 30.
You say old?
Their core is old.
You say old? I say seasoned. These are guys that know how to win, know what it takes to get ready for a game.
If they know how to win, then why haven't they won? That's the best thing you can say. Why haven't they won if they know how to win? They didn't win last year. They didn't win the year before that.
They did the year
how
before that.
How seasoned were they? Where'd they go? Did they win a World Series?
They did not.
Or did they choke down?
If that's always the goal, we've got 29 teams that wind up that might as well not even play.
Did they make it to the World
year.
Series?
They did not.
Okay.
I think their problem is they don't have they don't have any farm system depth.
Twice.
And B, they are older, so they have to stay healthy.
I will say
they
this.
Never do.
I'm going to say this just because their owner passed away, and it sucks that they didn't get. That he tried everything he could to get them a World Series. I hope for some reason they give him one soon, and that family, because again, there's just been way too much death in baseball in the last couple of weeks, and definitely the last couple of months.
True.
And I'm rooting for the Tigers in that reason. And I know I have a few friends that root for the Tigers and would say the same thing. I want them to win. I think it's going to, just like you said earlier today, Tommy, that might solidify this team to bring them to where they need to be. Because that was a huge piece of that team.
You need one extra thing in order to get everybody rally around a team, find a reason, hit that next gear, and win baseball games. Death of an owner, that's as good a reason as any.
The thing for me with them is their bullpen is nothing. They have K-Rod, who's getting old again, old. But they have 3 really good starters, especially Michael Fulmer. Zimmerman was having a great year last year until he got hurt. Verlander, if he is healthy, will be a top line guy. We all know that. Can they do it though? Can they stay healthy? Can they maybe pick up some pieces? We don't know what's going to happen with the ownership.
I think they're the second best team in this league.
in the league
or in the
division.
in the division. I think they're the second best team in this division.
I just think they're one of those teams where, I mean, yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, I think they're the rare exception. They're the team that has the core of their team is well in their 30s. They're in their mid 30s, but they are still very good. I mean, I think Miguel Cabrera is going to obviously have a fantastic season. Ian Kinsler is still going to have a very, very good season. Victor Martinez, if he stays healthy, I think is going to be very productive. Verlander, same thing. K-Rod, same thing. So a lot of their guys, are in their 30s, but they don't have any depth is their problem. So if guys go down, if they get injured, they're screwed. And then they're winning 82 games again.
If that.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue. That's been the Tigers' Achilles heel for the last 3 years.
Yeah. And do I see it changing this year?
No.
I have to say no. Because they're 1 year older, they didn't go out and improve their team this offseason. I don't think they signed any.
No, they didn't sign
Alex
anybody. Or whatever.
There was even some rumblings about them selling. So
we'll see. Because Justin Upton really hasn't done anything for that lineup, and he was really good for a long time.
Really good.
No, he's still really good. He's young.
He keeps underperforming every year, though. Is the thing.
No, last year was the worst. One of the worst years of his career.
It was horrible.
One of the worst years.
It was painful to watch.
I attribute that to him just moving to a new team, being high expectations.
It's weird because I still feel like he hasn't lived up to his expectations.
He doesn't have that anymore. What expectations does he have? They're not predicted to win.
Well, he's still only like 31. I mean, he's not that
exactly.
old.
He's not old.
They're 30.
They're not predicted to win this year.
No, he's not even 30.
Everybody
he's 29.
Everybody thinks the Indians are going to win the division, run away with the division, so all the pressure's off them. And the Indians should run away with the division. If they don't, then let down. Holy crap! And we're going to get into the Indians right now because if they don't win this division, then the people in Cleveland need to go and torch the stadium. I mean, if
saying that out loud is a terrible idea.
If they might do it,
it may very well happen.
Any year, period, that the Indian fans should absolutely expect to win the division, if not go back to the World Series. It should be this year.
I wouldn't be as outraged, though, if I were an Indians fan, just because of what they did last year.
It doesn't matter.
Because of how everything came together.
They got so close. They got one slider home run away from winning the World Series last year, and they've been waiting for a long time. This team got a lot better, in my opinion. You signed Boone Logan, unbelievable lefty. Now they have another lefty out of that bullpen who throws hard and is really good. Now they have 4 guys that can come out. You're talking about the best bullpen in baseball, period. They got Andrew Miller, probably the best reliever in baseball. I'll take him over Chapman any day. You got Shaw, unbelievable 97 cutter. Okay, you got Cody Allen, one of the best closers in baseball. And now you got Boone Logan, who throws 95 from the left side as well, with a really good slider. You got 4 guys, period. They're great. One of the best starting rotations in baseball. You got Corey Kluber, Cy Young winner. You got Salazar. You got Carrasco coming back. You got Trevor Bauer, who ended up looking pretty good. And then you got Tomlin, who's a really good 5th starter. He can win you some games. And then we got started looking at the lineup. I mean, they added Edwin Encarnacion. Yeah, they lost Napoli. But Edwin Encarnacion is a game changer. And you know this. He has just destroyed people in Toronto. What is he going to do in Cleveland? That ball flies out of Cleveland. And you know that. But I will say, I have 3 people on this lineup that I'm really worried about. Yan Gomes coming back from injury. Yeah, they got Roberto Perez, but we don't really know how good he is. Naquin is terrible. Terrible. You throw anything over 94, he cannot hit the ball. And they've shown that. Don't throw him any off speed. Throw him the ball hard, 94 over the plate. He won't catch up to it. And one of the worst defensive center fielders I've seen. He had a terrible year last year. But Chisenhall.
Worst ever, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah. Chisenhall, who, I mean, he's, everybody in Cleveland loves this guy. They love him. They love Geyer. But he's not a good player.
It's the same thing that we were talking about with the Royals and Alex Gordon. Just because you're a fan favorite doesn't mean you should still be playing the game.
Yeah, so one thing that I will say about the Indians, though, is they have last year so many of their players came through. They performed at their best possible outcome. So many of their players. I think Brantley was the only guy who was hurt from them for.
Brantley didn't play at all last year.
Yeah, he didn't play at all, so he's the one exception. But all of their other players came through.
But is he an exception? Because he's got to prove himself. He's got to come back from injury. Not a lot of people can do it.
I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're all gonna stay healthy like they did last year. Now, is there gonna be a massive drop off? No. And on paper, they still look good. And I do think they improved their team. They went out and they signed Encarnacion. They made a couple brilliant moves. Okay, they made a couple brilliant.
They made moves that nobody thought they were going to do. Nobody thought that Edwin Encarnacion was going to land in Cleveland.
But what I do is I sense regression. I sense regression from them, from a lot of their players next year naturally. Why is it going to happen? Well, I just think it's naturally going to happen. That's the swing of things. Some teams are going to, the Pirates are an example of a team. I think they underachieved last year. They're going to come back next year. They're going to bounce back next year. Indians, I think, are going to bounce back. Now, I still have them winning the division.
Yeah, who doesn't?
I still have them winning the division.
Again,
but I don't think they're going to be this dominant team. And are they going to? I bet I'm going to.
They will not be the Cubs of 2016.
And they're not making the World Series again next year. I'm sorry.
Okay. Here's the only issue. I don't want to say a lot of negative things about Cleveland because I do like their team. Brantley, everybody loves Brantley in Cleveland. He's amazing. Third overall voting for MVP in 2013 or 14. He got hurt. He's got to come back and do something. He's not going to immediately be the guy he was before he got hurt. Nobody does that. Period. Number 2, everybody in Cleveland loves this guy, Jose Ramirez, and I'm going to catch so much heat for talking about this dude the way he is. He had a ridiculous year last year. If anybody thinks that he's going to come out and just do that from now on, then they need to watch some more baseball, okay? The guy the year before batted .219, okay? On-base percentage under 300, slugging percentage under 350.
His minor league numbers are not.
His minor league numbers are pedestrian. His OPS as a minor leaguer is .631. This guy shouldn't even be in the majors. Honestly, he's a good player. He had a really good year last year.
I think he's a valuable piece.
And he's a valuable piece. But up until last year, this guy was not somebody you would want on your roster. And then all of a sudden, he just got a couple extra duck snorts and started hitting really well. He's not that good of a third baseman. A lot of people are going to say no to that, but he's not really. He had one good year. And for me to say that he's a good player, I need to see him do more than 1 year. Just like Moustakas for the Royals. Just like Dozier. I need to see more. I need to see more. And I hope they both do well because I don't want anybody to do bad.
This from the man who just said after half a year he was behind Danny Duffy.
Yes, and he needs to do more. I think he'll have a good contract if he does what he did, but he has to do that. Once we get to the end of that contract, we'll be able to judge whether it was or wasn't a good contract. With Jose Ramirez, he has to do something. He can't come out and just be like, I did really well last year. We made it to the World Series. He's got to improve on his 312 batting average and be a good guy. He only had like 70 RBIs. The dude's got to do something. He's going like 20 stolen bases. Are they going to steal bases like they usually do? Yes, they probably will with Lindor there because Lindor is a freak at shortstop. Okay? They're a good team. Don't get me wrong. But I need to see more out of Jose Ramirez. If they're going to win the World Series, which a lot of people hope they do, and a lot of people here in this room think that the MLB is making sure that Cleveland gets to the World Series.
Who said that?
The person that just spoke. He has to do it again. Period. You can't just have one good year. You can't do it.
And especially as a pitcher, some of their starting pitchers, the book's going to get out on Carrasco. Okay, the book's going to get out on, like it was with Kluber in 2015.
The book is out on Naquin. The book is out on Kluber in 2015.
And Salazar and some of these guys who pitched magnificently. Trevor Bauer. There's another example. The book's going to get out on these guys, and I what's going to happen?
I'm still skeptical. They're a good team, and I picked them to make it to the World Series in the American League. They're the best team in the American League in my eyes. I don't even care what the Red Sox did. Okay, unless Pablo Sandoval comes out of nowhere and just becomes the guy he was, better than he was when he was with the Giants. The Indians are the best team in the American League, but they have to prove it over the regular season.
That's the point of the regular season, though, isn't it?
No, because some teams like the Royals are built to win in the postseason, and they
just
struggle
have to get
in
there.
the regular season.
That's exactly
the Indians are just a good team.
They are, but are they good or are they great? Because
that's the question.
Good teams don't win the World Series. Great teams do.
You're right. That's not always true, though.
Outliers aside.
The Cardinals in 2006.
There
are always outliers.
All right, so we're going to go with divisional picks here. I'm going to go with Jack first since it's your division. You love the Royals. You got the Royals winning the division. I know you do.
Well, you know what? Actually, I'm going to go. So I'm going to start with number 5. Okay, so I do have the I grappled with putting the White Sox 5 and then saying the Twins were going to revert back to their 2015 form. I don't see that happening. So we'll go with the Twins 5 first. Their pitching staff. I think they're a long ways away. I still think they need to make a couple more moves to supplement their future. So I have the Twins number 5, number 4, and I have them with about 68 wins or so. White Sox, we're going to pick them 4th. I do like some of the pitchers they got. Moncada, I think, is going to be fantastic down the road for them. I think they're going to be sellers at the deadline, but I think they're still going to they're going to win about 72 games. Okay, 3rd place, we're going to go with the Detroit Tigers, Stars, and then Hope. Stars and Hope. Okay, so they have 4 or 5 superstar studs, even in their 30s. Okay, and then just hope for the rest of it. It's not going to equate for them over the end of the season. Their bullpen's too weak. 81 wins for the Tigers. Kansas City Royals are going to finish 2nd place. We will. I'm not a total homer, guys. Okay, I'm not a total homer.
Yes, you are.
You just gave them 2nd place.
I gave them second. I gave them 2nd place. They finished with 81 wins last year. They underachieved. A lot of their players underachieved their expectations, their projections going into the season. They were very injury laden last year. I have the Royals winning 87 games. Okay, 87 wins for the Royals.
That's a lot.
Yes. That is a lot of wins.
That's a lot of wins.
Congratulations. Good job, Dayton Moore. That is a lot of wins. But it won't be enough to win the division. I do have the Indians winning the division, but we're going to go with 90 wins. 90
you
wins
predict
for Cleveland.
That the Indians are going to have less wins
Yes.
than the
last
Houston Astros.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. It's on record.
Yes.
Tommy.
I'm going to go a slightly different direction. I'm going to go last place, the White Sox. Little to no faith in the White Sox. Just
I don't know.
They're still.
I'll give it to you.
They're the Chicago White Sox.
They did win the World Series in what, 2005?
What year
05.
is it? Yeah. Is it 2005?
You're right.
That's what I thought.
They don't have Scapacetic anymore.
That's true. As much as I do thoroughly love them, 4th place is going to go to the Royals. They're bad. They're not a good baseball team at all in any way, shape, or form. As much as I thoroughly love the Royals and love watching them, and I will catch every single game that's on.
To the people that are listening right now, Jack is literally clenching his fist and wants to hit Tommy right now.
He's grinding his teeth. You could probably hear it.
He almost
on
broke
the
his
mic.
glasses.
Yeah, it is what it is. Followed, I'm going to go ahead and give the Twins a little bit of due. I think they're going to come around. I really like the Twins going number 3. Followed by the Tigers, who obviously I'm heavy on at number 2. And then anybody that thinks that Cleveland's not going to win this division is...
they'll blow in the playoffs. They will. They'll blow in the playoffs.
They will blow it in the playoffs, but at least they'll make the playoffs, unlike everybody else in this division.
I have to say, Tommy, though, the Twins above the Royals, that's a party foul, man. That's a party foul.
It may be $20.
$20.
You're on.
$20.
Wow.
On.
Neither of you are going to the Hall of Fame.
Hands.
You son of a... You're betting. So I'm going to go right now. Okay. I'm going down the lineup here. The White Sox are not in the position to do anything this year. Okay. 2018, I think it will be their year. The next best team, I'm going with the Twins. Maybe winning 75 games. Maybe it's just too much unproven talent. 3rd, the Royals. For some reason, they're not going to be over 500. I just don't think they will. And Jack about flipped the table right now. Honestly, my mic is starting to move. You can hear it. So, but I mean, he's looking at me right now. He wants to kill me.
You hear my heavy breathing.
It's hilarious. He's so mad. So I just don't think they have it unless they make some moves, and they have to come out hot, and they're not going to. As much as I like Jason Hamill because he used to wear a Cubs uniform, they're not going to be good. Tigers, I think, might actually win a wild card spot. They're going to take 2nd in this division. I think get 89 wins, eke out a wild card spot because the AL East is so competitive, and the AL West will be competitive in that division. I think the Tigers, with the weak division in the AL Central, the weakest division in the AL, will get enough wins to get the 2nd or 1st wild card spot. The Indians are going to run away with this division, and if they don't, and I'm saying this on recording, if they don't run away with this division, there's something wrong in the city of Cleveland, and it's ridiculous. They should win at minimum 95 to 100 games. Minimum. Look at that team. Look at the division they're in. The White Sox, the Twins, the Royals will not win over 80 games. Neither of those 3 teams. The Indians should clean up, just massacre them, run over them. They play the AL Central plays the AL or the NL East or the NL West, So you have the Padres to clean up on. You have the Diamondbacks, the Rockies to clean up on. They should win a ton of games in the same way that the Cubs won a ton of games, but I still don't think they have what it takes to win the World Series. But they are a really good team. If they don't win 95 to 100 games, then it's a failed season for Cleveland. After that, we're going to get into the viewer question here. It comes from Leland from Overland Park.
Hi, Leland.
Yeah, hi, Leland. It's a really good question. This is something me and Jack often talk about. Spring training, it's coming up. Do their stats and records in spring training mean actually anything to these teams in the regular season? I say no at all.
I think it does. I think they matter. Now, obviously, for the established players, okay, for the players who are guaranteed spots, okay, players guaranteed spots in the majors, absolutely not. It doesn't matter. But you know who disagrees with you though? It's not just me, who definitely disagrees with you, but it's the teams. It is the organizations who disagree with you. Why do you think they bring in non-roster players? Why do they put competitions at second base?
We're talking about stats. Okay, I think records don't mean a thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, stats only mean something if you're on the fence.
But there is somewhat of a correlation though between how a player looks, or their performance, I guess, and the actual numbers that they put up. There is somewhat of a correlation.
I think spring training is more eye test. In my honest opinion, okay. I think GMs, coaches, all these people in the front offices, they want to see if this guy looks like he belongs with major leaguers. Does this guy look like he belongs on our 25-man roster? And if he comes out and he does, like look at what Chris Bryant did last year. He came out 17 home runs in spring training. Holy crap! Like this out of nowhere, just started crushing it. He looks like he should be playing third base. He needed some seasoning. We all know what that was for. But I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, a lot of these people you don't see. Instead, I mean, Chris Bryant was a name before that, but outside of that, you don't see a guy. Well, this guy's amazing in spring training, and then he just becomes the man for the rest of. That doesn't happen.
But I remember that caused this massive controversy though when Chris Bryant came up and he was sent down for a week. There were people clamoring, "Oh, they're just being cheap," or which I think that was a good decision.
They're doing business.
Yeah, I think
it's
that was
not
good.
being cheap. That's exactly what this is.
When
it comes down to the long and short of it, baseball is a business.
They need another year.
But which is Chris why Bryant, you can't afford to be too nice, to coddle players, and to give huge contracts to guys that don't deserve it because they're fan favorites. It is about making money and keeping the business afloat.
Back to the spring training stuff.
Okay, but Chris Bryant, if he had gone in and laid an egg in the spring training, then I don't think it would have caused.
No, it wouldn't even matter. It wouldn't even matter if he didn't hit 17 home runs in like 40 games.
Yeah. Off of guys that'll be bagging groceries.
Off of guys that'll be bagging groceries. That's the point. That's the point of spring training.
You're not seeing Verlander out
every single day.
Every day tossing aspirin. You're seeing Joe Schmo who might get a chance, who once you extend a roster might be able to ride pine in the bullpen. Those are the guys you're going to see most of the time. It's like if I went out and threw to Chris Bryant, I'm going to get lit up. It's the way it is.
Everybody
does.
But that's the point. That's what I'm saying. You can't take stats or records at all because nothing in the spring training is indicative of what's actually going to happen in the regular season because half the time you're playing against guys that are in Double-A.
But the argument that I'm making is I'm just saying if it didn't matter, you wouldn't see so many teams respond to great spring training statistical performances. You wouldn't see so many teams respond to it. And yeah, it's mostly guys who are just on the bench or in the bullpen or something.
They respond to them because you got these guys that should be in Double-A. They're dominating some of the guys that are in the major leagues, but not all of them.
Well, and they wind up on the 25-man roster at the beginning of the season. And then fans are like, these guys had great spring trainings, and I remember the Royals had that with like Brett Eibner, And
where's he at now?
Well, he's
probably
been
bagging groceries
for assignment like twice. Yeah.
He's actually in Oakland, but he'll be bagging groceries soon. I'm not bashing on Brett Eibner, but he's not that good.
Okay, well.
He's not that good offensively.
He isn't.
Defensively, he is very good.
Awesome. As an outfielder, you got to do something else besides be defensively good.
Yeah.
Do you?
He just has great springs every spring.
You do.
And also, I will argue...
Which goes to the point. If you're going to have a great spring, what else do you bring to the table?
Yeah, if you only have a good spring, then why the fuck can't you do it the entire season?
I know. I'm just saying that it matters, though, over the course of it doesn't matter a lot, okay, but it matters a little bit. Otherwise, you wouldn't see organizations responding to him. I
honestly think it's just pure eye test.
It is. It's which is what
and that's fine. We can disagree.
Anyway.
Yeah. We can agree, disagree, whatever. I honestly think it's just pure eye test. Does this guy look like he's going to be major leaguer or not?
Yeah.
Is he ready? Because baseball is still medieval thinking. They want to know, does this guy have the mold? Is he going to be
Okay.
that guy for us that can put seats, put asses in seats?
But I don't think there's 100% difference between eye test
There's a big difference between eye test and sabermetrics.
and numbers. Okay, not even
get it-
sabermetrics.
we'll get into
We're
that
talking
in a
just
different
numbers.
time. Yeah,
I'm talking stats. I'm not talking sabermetrics.
That's
I'm talking
sabermetrics
stats.
is all stats.
I don't think they even keep sabermetrics in spring training. If they did, it probably is a waste of time.
It is a waste of time. So, well, that's it. What we have for today. We appreciate everybody listening. Please follow us on Twitter. Again, it's JNC Baseball Show. Hit us up at our email, jncbaseballofficial@gmail.com. We'd love to hear everything. Please put in the comments what you guys have thoughts. Anything you think about the AL Central, anything you guys think about the spring training stats, stuff like that. We'd love to hear everything. And we appreciate it. And Patty in Arkansas, again, you have yourself a good night.